Horde on day 2, no idea why it was happening. No idea why it is happening, but apparently day 2 Horde. I know the reason why this is happening, and it's due to corrupt data, I believe. But it doesn't fully make sense. This is where I died. I went into creative mode because I'm trying to figure this out. And currently my days were reset back to, well, not my days, my points were reset. I can tell that because right now it's acting like it entered into a new phase. Because currently the parasites aren't getting points, and normally they would be. So what I'm assuming what the game thinks is happening is that it thinks it's day 30 when it's actually day 2. In other words, something in the code didn't settle right. But to simplify my findings through past experience is that it's something to do with the game. Okay, so the reason why this keeps on happening, don't exactly know that yet. But what I do know is not exactly the cause of it either. But I think it could be connected to is the memory of the world itself. These are the reason why this would be triggering is if it thinks it's been past day 30. And the fact that the points have been reset, I'm thinking is that what it tried to do is it tried setting the points to a integer value outside the range. So the points got reset to 0 due to the integer value being put out of range. So in other words, data got corrupted, so it tried filling in that data with corrupted data, but that didn't work out, so then that data got reset, but the data was still corrupted, so the game thinks something that happened that didn't actually happen yet. Hence why on day 2, the Horde arrived. And the reason why the Horde's not spawning right now is because I'm in creative mode and there is no current target player to spawn the Horde at that would be valid. Is what I'm thinking how it's done or whatever. But yeah, these are my findings. This is all that I managed to come up with. But this usually occurs once I re-enter the world after exiting it some time. Yeah, sometimes when I exit the world and then re-enter it, it does this. But this is so unlikely to happen that, yeah. But as I said, I think it's purely due to corrupt data. Because what I'm also assuming is that some data for this is stored in the RAM, which would explain. In other words, some world data is stored temporarily in the RAM, and then once that data gets saved from the RAM to the world. So, if perchance if the game or your PC were to reset while the world is still running, that saved data would get corrupted. Corrupted when it gets saved, because it tries to save it, but then it just ends up bugging out and does this shit. So what I'm thinking is a good fix to this would be to, if the data is detected to be corrupted or not right or changed in such a way, instead of loading the current save, it loads back a save, as in it creates a backup file of the world before the changes were made. Is what I'm thinking would be the best case scenario. That way I don't have to create a new world every time this ends up happening. And this would also make it to where I won't have to enable cheats. That's what my offers for solutions are.